Well, good morning. Well, good afternoon. My name is Bill. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry. Uh, got a little hair clipping this morning. It is Friday of Memorial Day weekend. My campwood bin is rocking right now with everybody coming down to Cape Cod. They're all pulling in one by one, buying out the campwood bin. I loaded it to the top yesterday. I cleaned up around the mill. Um, Today, we're going to continue on the timber frame order. And I'm really trying to cut out my glass 12 footers, and then everything else on this list is 10 footers and 8 footers, which simplifies things. It allows me to cut, gives me flexibility to cut crooked logs. If you got one that's 16-foot long, but it's got a big bow in it, you could cut it off at 10. It really gives me some flexibility to work with some smaller logs. So I have three 12-foot 7x8s to cut. They are, I'll bring you over here and show you. Then I'm going to show you around a little bit, show you what I did. Then we're going to cut that log off at 12-foot 6. We're going to throw it up there and we're going to try to mill it out. It's going to be tight on the dimension as always for some reason. Right now we are cutting tie beams is what we're trying to cut. This, and this. These three tie beams are 8x7 by 12 foot long. So far, we have cut these two 18-foot top plates. We've cut the entire base. We have cut one of the girts, all of the bracing, both of the collar ties. So what we have left to cut is the rafters, the posts, these three, and some more girts. So we're getting close. And by the way, my saw shop that I'm putting in, that is going to be a timber frame also, that is kind of going, if you look at my yard here, so you see the end of the mill, and then you see where the wood is. My saw shop is going right here, and I'm actually going to use that same setup because it's going to be 12x16. The reason for 12x16 is that in my town, I don't need a permit for 200 square feet or less. So you can build 12x16 and not even have to tell the town. You don't have to put a foundation in. You don't have to have it tied into septic, all that stuff. So I am going to put a 16x12 timber frame right here to go along with my equipment shed that's going in over there. That's what all those 2x4s are for. My kiln on top of the hill, all that stuff. But I am going to use his same template to build mine. So we just got done cutting these 8x7s, and before you shit yourself, they're lined in different orientations. And these two 4x6s, those will be going out to the two different customers. They'll be going out to the customers very soon. I have an entire 8x4 shed cut right here for a customer. Some of this longwood you see on top, that's just there to keep the sun off the timbers. That's all going out Tuesday or Wednesday. You can see I got rid of all my stuff next to the mill. I burned a bunch of it in there. Everything else I cut up and threw in the slab pile. And I split a bunch of wood and then filled up my campwood bin, and that's all flying out of here. For the first time this summer, it's all flying out of there. It's been really slow. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this. Oh, and I got Danny with me. Danny's over there. He's not in trouble, but he thinks he's in trouble because he kind of wandered a little bit. And so now he's paying really good attention. So I'm going to cut this thing off at 12'6". I am running my wife's clone MS250 that I just put the carb in. You guys didn't get to see that because I never put the video up. It just ended up to be too boring. I was fixing an MS250. It was damn near a complete rebuild for a customer. Then as I ordered parts for his, I ordered parts for this. I actually replaced the carb in this and the breather and the air filter and a bunch of other stuff. Is I was buying parts I could get 2-for-1s and stuff like that. So this saw is kind of, I'm still kind of tuning it a little bit. And we're going to cut this big bitch off and throw it up on the mill, and we're going to see what we can get. So after I cut it off, I'll actually throw you guys over there. We'll put you on pause. We'll do a little map out on the this small side of it, just so we can see how this is going to work out. Dimension wise, it's going to be tight. It just seems like everything I work with, it's always friggin' tight. I don't know how to rectify that other than to have a shit pile of waste and cut a ton of logs. I would rather, you know, pick out my logs that I think I can get everything out of. I have bigger logs that I could pull, but this one was just down here, so let's see if we can do it. So let's fire this thing off and cut this log off. So this saw still needs a little tuning. It's still running a little rich. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause you guys. I'm going to throw that up on the mill and I'm going to throw that log up on the mill, and we'll get ready to go. We'll map it out together, and then we'll see how this goes. I'm running same Stellicut band I was running the other day. All right, so we got it up here. It's cut off. I can almost tell you right now that there is no way that this is going to happen in this log, that we can get 3 7x8s. It's just not going to happen. Ooh, a bunch of dirt here I'm going to have to get off. What we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out what we can get. So I'm going to get the mill up out of the way. We're going to measure to the pith. We're going to try to center the pith on this log. Looks like it's pretty symmetrical. Just going to measure to the pith down here. See if the other end needs to come up. It's 11.5 to the pith here off this board. We'll check it down here. The pith I can tell right now is off center. It's 10.5 here. The pith is off center. The pith on that end is a little over this way more. So I think just my first instinct is, so there's a bunch of sweep in the log like this. I think we should try to get this end up an inch. Let's see if I can do that by hand. If I can't do it by hand, I have to do it with the machine. I would pause you guys and do it off camera. Need to find an inch piece of wood here. 2. There's an inch piece, if I can get to it. Now, carving my face off. So this is an inch by inch piece. See if I can lift this end with one hand so I can throw this block under it. This is a pitch pine, so it's a fairly heavy log. Oh yeah, no problem. Okay, so now we're centered on the pith. And we can dog this log off and we can kind of go at it and see what's going to happen. Don't hit the Bobcat plexiglass. I would suggest, no matter if you have 3 dogs like I do, if you're doing a round log like this on your first cut, you probably should dog it off on all 3 because its tendency to roll is going to be pretty high. So what we're going to do, I'll bring you over here. We're going to map out what we're going to get out of this, or I can't. You can tell that this is part of the log that I just milled the other day. It's got that same telltale. Let me make sure you can see. Same telltale little crook in the log there on the side that the other one had. This thing right here was in that other log too. So what we're going to do, we're just going to do a little bit of mapping here. The pith on this side's really centered. So 14, 15, 16 and a half is like 8 1/4. Let's draw, double check it. Yeah, that's right. And we will level up a horizontal line there. So the pith isn't exactly center, but it's pretty close. All right, and then this way I've got 17, so that's 8 1/2. But we have this little crook here too. It's probably almost better if we treat this log like it goes like this. Like that crook isn't there. Let's remeasure it. And so it's basically where the pith is. Basically at 8 here. We'll go ahead and draw a vertical line. Oh, that's not going to hurt us. I didn't even plumb that line, actually. So what I need is, I need an 8 and an 8, and that's not going to happen here. And I don't really have enough. If I came down 4, I might get 2 8s out of here. Just looking at the sweep in the log, I doubt it. So this isn't the greatest log in the world. So if we call this 16, it's going to cant out at 70 and 42 is 112, is 9'4", 9.5 inches. So if we call it 10 and we just go up 5, Let's see here, 4, 5. So if this cants out at 10, I do have a bunch of 5-inch material that I need. So that's going to cant out there. We can just go ahead and drop a plumb line down from that corner. That's close enough, I think. That'll give us a little bit of breathing room. Yep. And then we'll drop a plumb line down on this side, which obviously is going to go into that stupid spot. Let's get my crayon there. See if that's 10 across. This is actually 13 across, so we're actually a little clear there. And so this is basic. Let's just go ahead and draw a square line across right here, which is in theory as big as we can get. And what's that? Yeah, so now that's 10. This is 10. This is about 13 this way, but you got that dip in right there. So we're going to cant out about 10 by 10. So we could get 4 5x5s out of this, I think, with maybe a little bit of wane. Let's go take a look at our list and see what we have for 5x5s. It just makes more sense. I'll be able to pull a 12-foot log later. So rafters, they need to be 10 foot long. They're 5x5, and we need 18 of them. So we can get 4 of them out of this log. Also, we need 4 4x5s. We need 5 of them at 8 feet for wall girts. However, that'd be kind of a waste. So we're not going to do that. So let's see if we can get 4 5x5s out of this. And that will start into our rafter order. That seems to be how it maps out the best. It's the closest that way. It gives us a little bit of room, as you can see. The 4 5x5s mapped out right there. At what size canthus? And you can see down in the log, hopefully down that end, you can see it dips in a little bit. So this is going to be tight. So we're going to want to leave this cant kind of as big as we can get it, side to side, up and down. And then there could be a little bit of wane on the rafters, but that shouldn't be a problem as long as because if you look at the map in the center, we're going to have 1, 2, 3. We're going to have at least 2 completely clean sides on the 5x5s, which is really all you need for a rafter. You really only need one. You need 2 opposing clean sides, and the edges are nothing but inside. So if you think of a rafter going up, you need a flat side on the top, and you don't really need a flat side on the bottom. It can have some wane on it, but you need at least a reference surface on the bottom. And then you can have a little bit of wane on the sides. It's not hurting anything. It's not affecting anything that the roof members would sit on. You actually could have a little bit of wane on the top, and when you put your roof members on, that would be fine. So I think this will work out for 4 5x5s. I'm going to pause you guys, fire up the mill, and well, I'll keep you on. The hell with it. Let's just keep you on. So our top cut right now is going to be about, if I can get this right, so it's somewhere around 14 and a half. Probably 15 will be okay. I think we'll just make it at 15. It's probably going to cut out just above this blue line. We'll spin it, try to get ourselves into something I take it back because for 5, oh no, I only need 10. Right. So somewhere around 15. What my plan was for the rafters was try to get big enough logs that would cant out at 15, and then I could cut 1, 2, 3. I could cut 9 of them out of every 3x3. 9 of them out of 2 logs would give me the 18, but this will give us a jump start. So we're going to cut it just about 15 inches, and we will go from there. Let me grab my gloves. I hope rather than cinematic value here that you're getting some value out of learning how to map your way through logs. I'm going to have to scrape off the crap on the end of this too. So I know you can't see me. I'm going to grab my scraper and my brush. There's some encrusted dirt on the end that's going to wipe the band instantly if I go into it. I'll actually grab a hatchet and my brush. Get this mill out of the way. There's some on the side here. It's really, what it is it's encrusted dirt that's in the sap. So it's like a sandpaper rock barrier that's going to really take a toll on the band if I cut into it. And this is stuff that's fairly simple to deal with really quick, so might as well deal with it. So I think at 15, I think we're pretty good now. This log ended up getting in the dirt on the sappy end when it was first cut. So I think we're good there. See if we can save the band a little bit. And we'll cut this thing at 15 and we'll start with the process. Our goal is to get it into a 10 and 1/8 by 10 1/8 can. The water's on already. Get ourselves down to 15 here. That looks clear. Let's go ahead and take it right there. All right, we'll roll it over. Just take a look down it. So this all is way clear. This is a little clear. This would have a teeny bit of wane maybe at 10, and it flares out like that. I could go a teeny bit deeper, but I don't have the room right here. So let's just flip it over. It really doesn't take anything to map your logs before you go. You know, unless you're high production, you just don't care. And you're just going to rip, you're going to cut 2 or 3 logs and not really give a shit about the waste. I actually do care about the waste because it just takes me longer to cut orders if I have to cut 5 or 6, 7 logs for each friggin' thing. I'm trying to get, I want this to roll over on me. Come on. I'm trying to pick a log that's going to fit the order most of the time. Okay. I am going to drop my stops just a little bit, just so I don't have to worry about it. Ugh. Now, if I drop them down to 4 or even 3.5, I'll never hit them. But that's kind of leaving log hanging out this way too far. So we'll just drop them down in the middle and we'll deal with that later. So my next cut, I'm just barely on this bunk, is I could go to 11 comfortably. I'd rather start up a little higher and maybe take a flitch off later. I'm going to go to 12 for right now. Let's just do it there. And if I have to take a flitch off later, I will. I'll actually, this dimension needs to be 10 1/8. Yeah, it's going to cut in fairly wide down there, but if I can move this side down a little bit, that would help. So I'm going to cut it at, let's see, 11 1/8 to get a 1-inch board, 12 1/4. I'll try it at 12 1/4, and then I might take a 1-inch flitch off it. It's in my way. And what I'm doing when I say 12 1/4 is I'm allowing 4 kerfs. Hi, Jenny. Now this is not wide enough, so I'm going to come to 11 1/8 to take a flitch off. It's not wide enough yet. And that'll leave me 1 inch to take off the other side. Since I don't have my sawhorses set up, I'm going to throw everything off the side of the mill over here. I'll deal with it when I'm done. Now we'll get it flipped on its side, square it up, take the top off it. It's cutting out beautiful. The band's cutting great. So right now I should be at 11 1/8, which I am exactly at 11 1/8. So I have 1 inch to take off to get myself. Actually, no, I have 7/8 to take off. I need 10 1/8, so that was actually a 1/8 inch mistake there. Okay, just see where we are. I'm off the bunk here now. That sucks. Damn it. All right, I'm going to shut the mill off for a second because I might have to go all the way over with this. That'll lift that side up. And I might have to slide it down a little bit. So what's going to happen is that end down there sweeps down. That's going to throw this way out of whack. Let's go ahead and measure to the pith. I'll show you the process here anyway. We'll measure to the pith. Just 10.5 here. Let's check it down here. And it sweeps down, so it's a false pith here. Damn it. Yeah, it's actually 10 inches down here. Huh. So it's not exactly horrible the way it is. I could cut it the way it is. If I cut in, man, it's going to take a big chunk off. I don't think I'll get my my size on this. So right now my top cut would be at 15 maximum. I think that's going to be above. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This log's too long. Let's check it for square. This log's too long. Doesn't matter. Oh, I'm perfectly, just a shade over. I just got to go. Oh, it's perfect right there. I'm just going to dog it right here. This log's too long, so this end is going to get cut off anyway. So let's just go ahead and mill it. Reason being, I need 10 footers and this log's 12.6. So if I come up and I'll flip it, I'll get it up on this bunk after. I'm going to cut it at 15 right here. Huh, it actually hits. Wow, all right, cut it right there. But that tip is way off center. Now we can flip it over. You can actually start cutting this thing to size now. We have plenty of width here. We need, so I'm really wide here, except for right here. Still wider than 10. Still wider than 10. So if I call that side finished, this side's got a bunch of wane in it. I'm going to go down to 10 and an eighth on this side as I flip. Then flip it up and cut it to 10 1/8. Yep. Then we'll just cut it in half and cut it in half and we'll be done. Don't fall down on me. Oh, don't fall down on me. We're going to want to get this log up on that bunk too. See if I can shove it. If I can't shove it, I'll have to move it with the machine. Okay, I can't. Just going to scoot it down with the machine quick, just so we get true dimensions. Hopefully you guys can see me. I don't know if you can or not, but I'm just jumping in the machine. I'm just going to scoot it down 2 inches. Just grab it somewhere where I have room to move side to side. As soon as I see it move sideways, there we go. Should be good. And now, sitting on all the bunks, nice and flat, we're just going to cut it to 10 1/8. That's going to get rid of this little split spot right here and most of the weight on this side. Then we'll flip it up and we will cut it to 10 1/8 this way here, and then we'll split it in half. Actually, we can go, yeah, not 10 1/8. We'll cut it to 10 1/8, then I'll drop down and cut it at 5, and then I'll flip it up. Okay, there's a 1-inch split. We're going to come back, we're going to drop down and cut it at 5, so it'll give us 5 and 5. I got to make sure my stops are low enough. So this one's at 6, I'm going to drop it to 3. This one's at 4.5, I'm going to drop it to 3. This one's at 4, I'm going to drop it to 3. And we're going to cut this thing in half at 5. Then we'll flip it up and we'll cut it at 10 1/8 and then at 5 and we're done. There's a little bit of dirt on here I just want to get off. I'm just going to check my height to make sure that my scale didn't drop while it was under the cover, which it tends to do. So I'm going to cut it at 5. Make sure that's at 5 and 5. Looks good. It looks good. I'm at 10 and 8. I'm at 5. 5. Perfect. We cut it in half. Then we'll flip it up and we'll cut it at 10 and 8 and then at 5 when we're done. Three, 4, 5, 6. 6 up. Shut it off. Bring it back. And pull our dogs over a little bit. We're going to have to pull this way before we flip it, or we'll lose that one off the mill. And pull this whole log over towards me, like that. Then we'll flip it up. We should make 2 cuts and we can be done. Okay. So what we want is when we start flipping it, we don't want this one to jump these. We want to fall inside them. And I got to grab it below the 5 mark. This will hold it together. Keep going. Perfect. We'll dog it off. Somewhere down below 5. Sitting on both bunks. Let's just make sure there's no material above the 10. There isn't. Just cut it at 10 and an 8. Split it in half at 5. So I made a little bit of an error there. There was material above 10 and an 8. I didn't measure it. It was below my line. But there are some, there's a couple of 1x5s in this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna just pull these off the mill. These will probably get milled after. Either that or I'm gonna turn them into campwood. These are a nice size. Probably a couple of 1x5s in them anyway. And we'll rip it in half at 5, and we got 4 5x5s, 12 feet long instead of 10. And that's going to do it. There was a little bit of tension in these top ones here. They got a lot of knots in them. They did spring up just a teeny bit in the middle. Nothing that is more than what camber would be in any rafter. And just to double check, 5, 5, should be 5 this way, 5, 5, 5, 5. So we got these rafters done. We'll take the 4 out of the list. I'll take you over there with me while I'm talking. We'll take the 4 out of the list. Give you a look at the list here. And what he's paid here, make sure you're still in frame. I can see with my glasses. So rafters, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 done. I've got 14 more to do. Anything that he's paid, I've got lined out over here. So he still has to pay for these 2 sills, and we could throw those rafters in when he comes to get them if we want. We'll add that over here so we know what he's paid too. Pretty simple overall. The next log that I pull is going to be hopefully a 12-footer again. I'm going to try to get these tie beams done. The 7x8s, 3 of them. So I will pull a 12-foot log. I know that I've got some big ones up top. A big spruce especially. I could probably definitely do it out of that spruce, and it's about 12 foot. So that's probably what I'm going to pull. But that is the 5x5s. What are we at for time? We're at 47 minutes, so that probably took me 30 overall to cut it. Mechanics gloves is still working perfect. The Stellicut band still cut freaking great. I am going to find a place to take these off with the machine and go put them. And I'm probably going to clean up and be done. It's a holiday weekend, and I'm probably going to be done for the weekend. Hopefully they come get those. That goes out first of next week, and we'll take it from there. So I will go find a log and bring it down here to do the next phase, the next 12 footers for those tie beams. And I think it's all going to go fairly quick from here. So thanks for the watch for Danny, who's, he's over there and sitting by the woods listening to the people that are working next door. And myself, we appreciate the watch always. Like, share, subscribe. Hopefully, if you take anything out of this, you take out maybe how I think my way through a log, trying to get the most out of it that I can, and come up with a plan. When you've got something that is as fragmented as this list, 8x8, 7x8, 7x8, 7x7s, 5x7s, 5x5s, 4x5s, 4x5s, 3x5s, 3x5s, and all different lengths from 8 foot to 18 foot. When you have this list that's all fragmented like that, you have to kind of map your way through so that you can maximize what you do. It'd be really hard to, let's just say I canted that log out and it came out at, I don't know, it would have come out somewhere around 10 by 10, but let's say it came out 9 by 9. You gotta think your way through. What are you going to do then? Well, if you got a couple of 4x5s, maybe you cut a couple of 4x5s and you waste a 2x. So I'm trying to do it so that I don't waste anything. I get bonus wood, but I don't waste anything. I don't end up getting only 2 beams out of something that I could get 4 out of if I cut it at a different dimension. So that's why the mapping it out makes sense. If you're just out here production cutting all day and you know what the yard needs, let's say they need 1x10s, you're just going to cut it to 10, flip it up, cut ones off it, and screw all the waste. I really can't afford to be that way. I've got to try to maximize everything I cut. So that's how it works for me. I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend. Happy Memorial Day. And if you have any questions, hit me up. I answer everything back, and appreciate the watch, like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. And for now, this is Pirate Solutions out.